Listen, I thought I was blending in. Dark jeans, structured coat, minimalist boots. I'd studied the art of European understatement for months. Then a barista in Ljubljana handed me my coffee and said in perfect English, "You want this to go, yes?" I hadn't even opened my mouth yet. That's when it hit me. Americans abroad are walking billboards, broadcasting our nationality through 1,000 tiny signals we don't even know we're sending. And Europeans? They've become anthropologists, developing a sixth sense for spotting us the moment we step off the plane. I'm in La Boqueria market, trying to buy jamon. The vendor leans in close, describing the different cut. His face is maybe 8 inches from mine. Every cell in my body is screaming to step back. I can feel my shoulders tensing, my body doing this weird backward lean without actually moving my feet. The vendor notices. Of course he notices. "Americana?" he asks, grinning. Turns out Americans carry an invisible force field of roughly 18 inches around our bodies. This unconscious personal space requirement is significantly larger than in most other cultures, and we defend it with the vigilance of palace guards. In crowded European metros, we're the ones doing an elaborate apologetic dance every time someone brushes against us, while locals flow through the space like water. I watched an American woman in a Prague tram literally press herself against the window to avoid touching the person next to her. Meanwhile, 3 Czech grandmothers were packed shoulder to shoulder, chatting away without a second thought. The American looked like she was trying to phase through the glass. Here's a fun cultural landmine. Americans ask, "How are you?" as a greeting, not an actual question. We expect "fine, thanks" as the response. It's basically punctuation. Try this in Prague, though, and prepare for an education. Me to a bookstore clerk. "Hi. How are you?" Clerk. "Not so good. My landlord increased rent again, my mother is having surgery next week, and I have this pain in my shoulder that won't go away. Also, the tram was delayed this morning." Me. Frozen, realizing I've opened Pandora's box. Clerk. "Why do Americans ask questions they don't want answers to?" In Prague, when you ask someone how they are, you'll actually receive detailed information about their life. Their cat died, their favorite sweater shrank, their digestive issues. Americans treat "How are you?" as a friendly noise. Czechs treat it as a legitimate inquiry into their well-being. An American tourist in Brno asked a museum guard how he was doing. The guard spent 15 minutes explaining the philosophical implications of existence in post-communist society. The American just wanted directions to the bathroom. There's apparently a specific way Americans hold their phones that gives us away instantly. A Norwegian architect in Oslo explained it to me. We hold our phones at a particular angle when navigating, like we're simultaneously using GPS and broadcasting our confusion to satellite. Americans look at their phones, then look up at buildings, then back at phones, spinning in circles, he demonstrated. Europeans check once, put the phone away, and walk with purpose, even if they're lost. Americans create a parallel digital journey through constant photographing and social media narration, staging shots repeatedly and reviewing images immediately. A German photographer in Berlin told me he can spot American tourists by their photo choreography, the way we direct companions, check angles, and review results in real time. I witnessed an American couple in Budapest spend 20 minutes getting the perfect shot at Székely Baz. They took 47 photos. I counted. Meanwhile, a Hungarian family took 1 photo total, all of them mid-laugh, slightly blurry, and they seemed perfectly happy with it. American in a Krakow cafe, increasingly frustrated. Why won't anyone respond to my texts? Do people not use SMS here? Polish friend. Everyone uses WhatsApp. You're the only person in Poland sending SMS. American. But SMS is the default. It's built into the phone. Why would I download a separate app? Polish friend. Because literally everyone else did. Americans using SMS instead of WhatsApp marks them as outsiders in Europe, where messaging apps are the universal standard. An American in Stockholm spent 3 days trying to coordinate with locals via text before someone finally explained that his SMS messages were probably costing them money, and could he please just get WhatsApp like a normal person? American tourist in Munich, Sunday morning, standing outside a closed grocery store. This can't be right. Why is everything closed? What if you need groceries? German neighbor, then you plan ahead. Tomorrow is Monday. American, but what if there's an emergency? German, then you go to a gas station. They're open. American, a gas station? For food? That's insane. This violates basic commercial freedom. I'm going to leave a review. Wait, how do I leave a review for an entire country? Americans demand immediate solutions to discomfort, while Europeans accept limitations as normal. A Texan in Berlin filed a noise complaint with the police because church bells woke him up on Sunday morning. The police officer explained that the bells had been ringing at that church since 1723, and perhaps the American might consider earplugs. The American responded by asking who he could speak to about updating traditions to reflect modern sleep science. Estonia has this whole digital society thing. Your ID is digital, you vote online, prescriptions are digital. It's very efficient, unless you're American. American at Estonian pharmacy. I need this prescription filled. Pharmacist. Where is your e-prescription? American. It's written on this paper, see? Pharmacist. We don't use paper. It needs to be in the system. American. Can't you just type it in? Pharmacist. No, your doctor must submit it electronically. American. But I have the prescription. It's right here. This is bureaucracy gone mad. In America, we value efficiency. Pharmacist. Gestures at entire streamlined digital system, yes. We can tell. The American ended up trying to explain American healthcare as somehow more efficient, while standing in a country where you can file taxes in 3 minutes from your phone. The pharmacist's expression was a masterclass in diplomatic skepticism. Americans plugging in devices without checking voltage is a rite of passage. But this guy in Stockholm took it to new heights. American, my hair dryer exploded. I think there's something wrong with Swedish electricity. Hotel receptionist, did you check the voltage? American, why would I need to check voltage? Electricity is electricity. Receptionist, we use 220 volts. You use 110. American, that's illegal. That's twice as much. How is that safe? I could have died. Receptionist, you could not have died from your hair dryer. American, I want to speak to whoever is in charge of European electrical standards. This is a safety violation. Where do I file a complaint with the EU? European electrical voltage fries American devices, but this tourist was convinced Sweden had specifically targeted his personal electronic. He wrote a TripAdvisor review claiming Stockholm hotels were engaged in a coordinated appliance destruction scheme. Finland has rules about personal space that Americans accidentally violate constantly. Like, there are bus stop protocols, you're supposed to stand specific distances apart. American tourist in Helsinki, waiting for a bus, friendly. Beautiful day, isn't it? Finnish person, takes 3 steps away. American, thinking they didn't hear. Steps closer, I said, beautiful day. Finnish person, takes 4 more steps away. American, are you running from me? Finns have a specific default volume setting significantly lower than Americans. This American interpreted Finnish reserve as a personal attack and spent the rest of his trip convinced Finns were the rudest people in Europe because they wouldn't engage in unprompted weather conversation. Everyone knows Italians have coffee rules, but Americans really don't understand how serious those rules are. American in Rome, 3 p.m. I'd like a cappuccino. Barista, visible distress, now? American, yes now. Is there a problem? Barista, it is afternoon. American, I don't understand. Do you not have milk? Barista, we have milk. But cappuccino is morning. American, I'm paying for it. I'd like one now. Barista, makes cappuccino with the energy of a surgeon performing unnecessary cosmetic surgery. Ordering cappuccino after 11 a.m. causes genuine distress to Italian coffee culture. The barista served it with a look that said, I'm doing this, but we both know this is wrong. The American photographed it and posted on Instagram with the caption, just had an authentic Italian cappuccino at 3:47 p.m. Every Italian who saw that post probably felt a disturbance in the force. American couple in Madrid, 6 p.m. hungry. Can we get a table for dinner? Restaurant host, we open at 8:30. American, it's already 6. Who eats at 8:30? Host, everyone in Spain. American, that's barbaric. That's almost 9 o'clock. Do you want people to have indigestion? They ended up at a tourist restaurant that opened at 7, complained the whole meal about how real locals don't eat here, completely missing the irony. Americans eat early and quickly, dinner at 6, done by 7:30, while in Madrid, proper dinner doesn't begin until 10. A group of American tourists in Seville tried to make a 6 p.m. reservation at a Michelin-starred restaurant and couldn't understand why the staff kept laughing. They eventually realized the restaurant's kitchen wasn't even in the building until 8 p.m. Americans smile, a lot, at strangers, for no reason. Europeans find this deeply suspicious. Americans speak louder than average and have a distinct enthusiasm that Europeans notice immediately. But the smiling thing is next level. A French colleague once asked me, why are you happy about a list of food you haven't eaten yet? I'd been smiling while reading a menu. To me, choosing food is fun. To her, I looked unhinged. Europeans smile less than Americans, and this doesn't reflect unhappiness. It reflects different cultural norms around emotional expression. An American woman in Vienna smiled at a bus driver every morning for a week. He finally asked if she needed medical attention. Americans in European trains have this habit of treating public transportation like their living room. Loud phone conversations about personal medical issues, detailed relationship problems, workplace drama, all broadcast to an entire train car. I watched an American on a Munich S-Bahn have a 30-minute phone conversation about her gynecologist appointment. She used specific terminology. She had visual aids prepared. The German passengers developed a collective 1,000-yard stare. One elderly German man finally said, in perfect English, "Madam, we have now learned more about your cervix than your doctor knows. Please." Some Americans in Europe just refuse to adapt to metric. But this guy in Norway took it personally. American tourist in Oslo checking weather. It says it's 20 degrees outside. That's freezing, but everyone's in t-shirts. Are Norwegians immune to cold? Norwegian, that's 20 Celsius. It's about 68 Fahrenheit, American. Why would you use a system where 20 means warm? 20 should mean cold. This is deliberately confusing. Norwegian, it's the system the entire world uses except you. American, exactly. You all coordinated to make it harder for Americans. This is basically an international conspiracy. Americans refusing to use metric instead of imperial measurements marks them abroad. This tourist spent his entire trip converting every temperature and refusing to believe the conversions were accurate. He left a review saying Oslo's weather app was mathematically suspicious. Budapest's thermal baths are a 2,000-year-old tradition. Romans built the first ones, Ottomans perfected them, and modern Hungarians treat them like sacred temples. Americans treat them like swimming pools. I watched an American family at Sekenii baths completely violate every unwritten rule simultaneously. First, they tried to enter the thermal pools without showering. A Hungarian grandmother blocked their path like a bathroom bouncer, pointing aggressively at the showers. American dad, "We showered this morning at the hotel." Grandmother says something in Hungarian that definitely translates to "absolutely not." Then they brought pool toys. Inflatable floaties. In a 19th century medicinal thermal bath, where locals play chess on floating boards and discuss philosophy. The lifeguard confiscated the floaties with the solemnity of a museum curator removing someone from touching a Rembrandt. But the real catastrophe came when the teenage son tried to swim laps in the thermal pool. These pools are for gentle floating, quiet contemplation, and elderly people's joint therapy. This kid was doing butterfly strokes, creating waves, splashing chess players. Hungarian bathers create a human wall, forcing him to stop through sheer collective disappointment. A man explains in English, "This is not for exercise. This is for soul." American mom's response, "Well, in America, pools are for swimming. This is just sitting around in hot water. Where's the actual pool?" The actual pool was right there. She was standing in a facility that houses multiple pools, different temperatures, different purposes, all meticulously organized over centuries of spa culture. The family left after 20 minutes, complaining on their way out that it wasn't really worth the entrance fee if you can't even swim. A Hungarian woman next to me muttered, "They paid €9 to disrespect 2,000 years of tradition in under half an hour. Impressive efficiency." Poland takes its pierogi seriously. Not "this is a nice dish" seriously. More like, "this is cultural heritage protected by ancient grandmother magic" seriously. American tourist in a Krakow Pyrogarnia, reading menu, "I'll have the pierogi. But can you make them with ground beef instead of the potato filling? And can you fry them extra crispy? Also, do you have ranch dressing?" Polish server experiences visible pain. American, "What? I'm just asking for substitutions. The customer is always right." Server, "This is pierogi ruski. It has been made this way for centuries. With potato and farmer's cheese and onion." American, "But I don't like farmer's cheese. Can't you just use cheddar?" Server, "That would be a different food, not pierogi ruski." American, "Okay, but in America, restaurants accommodate dietary preferences. This seems really inflexible." Here's what this American didn't understand. Pierogi recipes are passed through Polish families like sacred texts. Grandmothers spend years perfecting their technique. Each region has specific variations prepared for specific holidays. Christmas Eve pierogi with sauerkraut and mushrooms aren't the same as summer pierogi with blueberries, which aren't the same as pierogi ruski. Asking a Polish cook to fundamentally change pierogi is like asking an Italian to put ketchup on carbonara or telling a French chef to microwave the coco vin. It's not about flexibility, it's about respecting something that's survived occupations, wars, communism, and generations of family tradition. The American eventually ordered pizza from a different restaurant and ate it at a nearby bench, completely missing the opportunity to experience something authentic because it didn't match his preconceived expectations of what food should be. A Polish couple watching this unfold. He came to Poland to eat American food. Why did he come? Lithuania calls basketball their second religion, but Americans hear that and think it's just like a cute phrase. It is not a cute phrase. It is a literal description of national identity. American exchange student in Vilnius during Eurobasket qualifiers. Why is everything closed? Is it a holiday? Lithuanian roommate. National team is playing. American, so? Can't people just watch it later? Lithuanian, looks at American like they suggested canceling Christmas. Lithuanian. This is Lithuania versus Latvia. This is not something you watch later. American. It's just a basketball game. This is where the American made a critical error. In Lithuania, basketball isn't just anything. Lithuania has 2.8 million people and has won 3 Olympic bronze medals, multiple Eurobasket championships, and consistently ranks in the world's top 10. During Soviet occupation, when Lithuania couldn't exist as a nation, basketball was identity. Žalgiris beating CSKA Moscow wasn't a sports victory, it was national resistance. The American decided to go shopping during the game. Big mistake. Streets were deserted. Stores that were technically open had employees gathered around phones watching the game. He walked into a grocery store, 0 customers, 3 employees huddled around a tablet, erupting in cheers. He tried to check out. The cashier held up one finger. 1 minute. They are shooting free throws. American, can you just ring me up? I'm in a hurry. The entire store turned to look at him. The judgment was palpable. Someone explained, slowly, as if to a child. Lithuania is down by 2 points with 40 seconds left. You can wait. Lithuania won by 1 point. The whole city erupted. Car horns, people running into streets, strangers hugging. The American stood there holding his groceries, completely bewildered by witnessing an entire nation experience collective euphoria over a basketball game. Later, he posted on social media, "Why are Lithuanians so obsessed with basketball? It's weird." A Lithuanian responded, "Basketball gave us identity when we had no country." What gave you identity? Walmart. Latvia has an interesting relationship with public transportation silence. It's not a written rule, but it's absolutely a rule. Buses and trams operate in near-complete quiet. People don't chat. They definitely don't make phone calls. Americans do not know this. American tourist on a Riga tram, phone call, full volume. "Yeah, I'm in Latvia now." "No, not Lithuania, that's a different place." "It's pretty cool, I guess." "The food is." "Well, it's different." Every single Latvian on that tram turned to stone. Not a single person made eye contact with him, but the collective disapproval was suffocating. The American remained completely oblivious, continuing his loud conversation about how everything looks kinda Soviet still, and "I can't find any good American food." An elderly Latvian woman, sitting next to him, began passive-aggressively turning pages of her newspaper louder and louder. She wasn't even reading, just flipping pages with increasing violence. American, noticing, "Sorry, am I in your way?" "Woman, you are in everyone's way." American, "I'm just on the phone?" "Woman, yes, we know. We all know. Everyone on this tram knows about your opinion of Latvian food." This confused him deeply. He actually looked around and asked, "Is there some rule about phone calls on public transportation?" 20 Latvians simultaneously gave him a look that translated to, "Not a rule. Just civilization." The American got off at the next stop and took an Uber for the rest of his trip, complaining to the driver that Latvians are really uptight about random things. The driver's response, "Maybe you are loud about random things." Americans speaking at high volumes in European public spaces don't realize that what registers as normal conversation in the US is considered practically shouting in places like Latvia, Finland, or Switzerland. Personal volume control is cultural, and Americans are calibrated several decibels higher than most of Europe. Here's the thing about being spotted as American abroad, it's not one big thing. It's death by 1,000 tiny tells. The way we hold our water bottles like life support systems. The way we request ice in abundance when Europeans typically use minimal or no ice. The way we ask for modifications to dishes that were perfected over centuries. But you know what? Most Europeans don't actually hate spotting Americans. We're entertaining. We're that friend who shows up to the party wearing the wrong outfit, saying the wrong things, and somehow still having the time of our lives. A German friend told me, Americans are like golden retrievers. Too loud, too enthusiastic, no sense of personal space. But somehow, you can't help liking them. So yes, Europeans will spot you instantly. Your personal space force field, your menu smile, your phone-spinning navigation dance, they see it all. But at least you're keeping them entertained while you're figuring out that WhatsApp is not, in fact, a conspiracy against SMS freedom. Just maybe leave the hairdryer at home.